In this video, I'm going to teach you how to solve a weird survey export thing where instead of the response options just going down in one column, they're broken up over a bunch of different columns. This is what I mean. Okay, so this is inspired by Ariani's data set that she brought to office hours a few days ago. These are obviously not Ariani's real responses, but her data set had survey IDs, super standard. And then what we'd expect to see is like question one, and then all the responses just stacked up in one column. That's what happens 99.9% of the time. It's nice and simple and easy. But Ariani's export was doing this weird thing where each response option got its own columns. And then imagine how wide this was because she had like 25 different survey questions, which meant like 50 bajillion different columns. And it's not just that it kind of like hurt my eyes to look at this wide data set. It's also that this format with different columns, it just doesn't play well with formulas or pivot tables or charts. It requires some extra workarounds. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to teach you the 3 different workarounds or different solutions in case you get this like separate column headache thing. Solution number 1 is we're gonna ignore that one. Okay, Emery will never teach you to manually type or copy paste or use the dreaded like CTRL F find replace thing, because that's going to waste your time and you're going to make a typo. And then future you or future Ariani, when you add new rows to your data set, you're going to have to start all over. Not to mention all the mistakes you'll probably make along the way. So that doesn't work, right? That's like the old fuddy-duddy way of doing things before you know any better. I'm going to focus on solution 2 and 3 with you. And I think you're going to like 2 better. I like 3 better. After you watch both, please comment below the video and you vote. Tell me which one you like the best, 2 or 3. Okay, so here's solution 2, making a new column and just summing them. Here's what it looks like. You scroll to the far right, and any new columns that I've added, you know me. I always put raw data in black, clean and recoded data off to the right in red. You just do a good old sum. It's just literally like equals sum, and we've summed across those 5, okay? Because look, if you get numbers here, it's just repeating the 4 over here. And then this one, it's summing the 5. It just gives you 4, 5, etc. And then if you want, I mean, this is what would feed into a chart then. It would say like this many 4s, this many 5s, which who even knows what that means? I would recommend using a lookup or using a nested if to turn those numbers into the words that you want in your chart, okay? If you have any questions about if or lookups, comment down below. I'll point you in the right direction. All right, so that's solution 2. You just sum them up. I think you're going to prefer that one because it's so simple. But I prefer the pivot table option because you're going to have to turn these into a pivot table anyway, so it actually ends up being faster once you get the hang of it. This is what I mean. Let's add a new pivot table. We are going to click on the cell in the upper left corner of the data set, go to Insert, add a brand new pivot table. You know about pivot tables, likely if you've watched some of my videos, and if not, comment down below. I will link to some tutorials for you. We're going to add one here, and when you have the separate column phenomenon, you're going to drag them into the values box. Okay, watch what happens. I drag one of them down here. I drag the second one down here, and after the second one, Excel gives you this. It gives you values. I didn't do anything, type anything, click on anything to make that appear. Excel added that magic. And then you grab that values little box and you drag it into rows, and you're going to get a nice little stack of the not at alls and the rarely. Let's add the sometimes and the often and the always. And now we're going to reformat these from a sum to a count, which is very normal. You have to do that with almost all pivot tables at some point. We're going to double click, change it from a sum to a count, and then rename it so that the words that we want to show up in the chart are right here. Okay. Double click, count, rename. Okay. Takes about 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Count, rename. Okay. 2 more home stretch. Count, rename. Okay. Count, rename. Okay. And then we can add a chart. Insert, let's grab a bar chart. You'd format the bar chart. You could share it in a slide deck, in a Word doc, in a dashboard. I love this workaround because even though the data came to us across a bunch of different columns, the pivot table can combine those all into one pivot table, one summary table, and one chart. Can you imagine how bizarre it would be if you had to have like 5 separate pivot tables and then 5 separate charts? It would be really weird and really confusing. Okay, it's your turn. I'd like you to vote down below and let me know, do you prefer solution 2 or solution 3? And if you'd like to download this spreadsheet and practice along and try it yourself, look down below this video for a link to a complimentary download.